still alive.
Alright, so I've done a few test recordings and I really like the way the last video turned out, but I'm still having some trouble kind of picking the right music to score everything. I guess I just need a little bit more practice in doing that, so here we go. Today I'm going to be going over a memory that doesn't involve Germ or Mark, but just me, myself in Vegas. I was kind of going through my memory bank of things, couldn't really find very many memories that involved no one else and just myself, which was kind of weird. I thought that I would have at least a little bit more memories of myself as a child or as a teenager. There wasn't a whole lot that came to mind. This is one of them. So growing up, my parents worked opposite shifts. Like my mom worked the days and my dad worked the nights. And so because of that, we didn't have very many home-cooked meals. So Burger King used to have this deal, right, where on Tuesdays, I think it was, you would be able to buy 2 cheeseburgers for $1. So my mom would do this thing. She would go to Burger King on Tuesday and order like 20 cheeseburgers, take it home, put it in the fridge, and that way Germ and I have something to eat during the week. Alright, so one day after school, I get home, I take off my shoes, I run upstairs, put away my backpack, change my clothes to my house clothes, and head back downstairs to get something to eat. Go into the kitchen and open up the fridge, and this is where I would end up seeing the mountain of gold. These cheeseburgers. Hell yeah. So then I take the 2 burgers, I put it into the microwave, and I go over into our living room to turn on the TV. I grab the remote, come back into the kitchen, grab my 2 cheeseburgers from the microwave, and bring it back into the living room and set it onto our coffee table. So we have this like wooden coffee table that has this stone centerpiece in it. So I lay it down on top of there, no plate, just burgers right onto the coffee table. I unwrap my 2 burgers and I start taking my first bite. So I'm sitting there eating, flipping through the channels, trying to find Cartoon Network, going through the TV channel guide to see when Dragon Ball starts or something. You guys remember the TV channel guide? It was like, you just kind of had to go at the speed at whatever it's playing at. You weren't able to scroll through it at all. You just had to see what's coming up within the next hour. You couldn't even see what's coming up in 2 hours. Whatever. So I go into a second bite, and this is where I felt it. I felt that snap, that little crunch, that soft little chew of a pickle. So Mom was normally pretty good at this. She would typically order Germanized burgers with no pickles because we hate pickles. Deal with it. I end up biting through the pickle, and I think for a second, all right, maybe let's try this again. So every once in a while I would test to see if maybe my palate has changed. Maybe all of a sudden I like pickles now. Maybe pickles taste delicious. So I go through eating the pickle. I move the food around in my mouth. I can feel my teeth trying to avoid biting the pickle again, trying to escape what's the reality of what's happening in my mouth. There's a pickle in my mouth. I can taste the sour. I can taste the green. Then out of nowhere, totally unexpected, I throw up. All over the coffee table. All over my burgers. I end up throwing the burgers away, cleaning up the table, cleaning up the kitchen, and I just didn't feel like eating anymore. I do remember sitting back down afterwards so I can wait for Germ to come home from school. Germ was in middle school at the time, so he comes home maybe an hour after I do. And I remember wanting to see if Germ would end up eating the pickle too, if Germ would end up trying to eat a pickle. I don't know if Germ still tries to test eating pickles the same way I do. Every once in a while, I don't know. We'll see. But that's kind of where the memory ends. Meh. Yeah, it's too bad I don't remember anything after that. I don't know if Germ ended up coming home and eating our burger pickles. I'm sure he didn't throw up. That was the one and only time I ever threw up from eating pickles. But ever since I can remember, Germ and I has never been much of a pickle fan. I know Mark has always liked pickles. My wife really likes pickles. She can eat all the pickles in the world, whatever. Ever so often I would try this whole pickle test thing. I would never eat a full pickle or just a pickle by itself. I would try chewing through pickles in my burgers just to see if, like I said, my palate changed, but it never has. Tartar sauce is something that I can kind of stomach. It's not something that I would go out looking for or want to look for at like Ivar's or something, but that's kind of about it. All right, don't die.